Hey, it's Nay, and welcome to Hey Nay. So, the topic for this episode is rebounding and dating. Um, so, I'm going to jump right into this. The first question is, what exactly does it mean to rebound? So, rebounding means that you have just come from a serious relationship and you have just recently broken up with that person, or you've been broken up with, and you are finding comfort um, with another person just to fill that void, or just to help you deal with that loss. Um, and it's usually a short term arrangement. So usually, one night stands can be considered rebounding if it's happening after a huge breakup, and just someone um, you quickly have a quick interest in, or is interested in you, but it's pretty much very like no strings attached um, kind of situation. Is rebounding okay, or is it frowned upon? Okay, this question is a little bit loaded, and I know some people are going to disagree with what I think about it. But I think it is okay as long as the other person knows that that's what's happening. So if you're rebounding, if you're rebounding with someone else, Susie, okay, so if your name is Billy, and Billy is rebounding with Susie to get over Jackie, um, then to me that is okay if Susie is aware that what was his name, Billy, that Billy is doing that because of his breakup with Jackie. So, for instance, um, sometimes a rebound situation can sort of happen if, say, for instance, Billy and Susie are both talking about Jackie, and Susie is comforting Billy, and then Billy feels very comfortable with Susie, and Susie wants to make him feel comfortable. In the other words, then they end up spending a lot more time with each other, maybe having intimate moments and things like that. Now, of course, and this works for both. It could be the inverse too. It doesn't have to be a guy needing to rebound. Women can rebound as well, um, and that's sort of how I think it's okay. So if Susie's aware of that situation, but if Susie is sort of under the impression that Billy is trying to start a serious relationship with, or um, that what they have is something substantial and has potential to grow, then that's the issue. That's the issue. So don't have anyone under false pretenses. Like, I think it's totally okay to be like, hey, like, I like being around with you, and you're really making me feel good. But I just came from a bad breakup. I just want you to know that. I think that is okay. That's good. Put the cards on the table. Put the cards on the table, because you don't want someone to think about something. Because, like, I think, for instance, in the example I was using, Susie cannot expect Billy to be fully engaged in this situation. Like, she must know that his mind is still a little bit on Jackie, or that he's still sort of dealing with his feelings for Jackie. So she can't expect um, renewed and magnificent feelings towards herself in regards to Billy. She can't expect that, not right away, nothing like that. Um, and I mean, that's how I feel. But and if you're in the position of Susie, in this case, if you're in a position of Susie, um, you know, it's up to you. It's up to you whether or not you want to be someone's rebound. And I think to each their own. Sometimes you may just need that person for that moment, or you may just need that person for that short term. It's up to you, you know. I just think about the expectations part. As long as things are clear in that sense, then I don't see the harm in it. I think it's up to whatever you want to do. Can a rebound turn into something real? Now, this is a good question. Yes, it can. It can turn into something real. But again, I don't think you should go into the situation expecting it to be real. So in Susie's case, I wouldn't go into the situation expecting for her and Billy to have a serious relationship. I just don't expect that. You shouldn't expect that because it probably won't ever happen. Billy may have just been doing that just to help him cope with the loss of Jackie. That, and I think, and I don't think it's a healthy start to any relationship. So I need to clarify that because I know I kind of said that rebounding is okay, but I want to make sure that that's clear. It's not a healthy start at all. But um, in comforting each other, you may find that you comfort each other frequently. So maybe it's not just with Jackie, but Billy gets comfort from Susie after he breaks up with the new girl, Mary. And Susie does the same thing after she breaks up with um, Zach, and then she finds comfort with Billy in that sense. If you find yourself finding comfort with this person very often, or you still communicate in a more personal level, then yeah, something real can form from that. I do believe that. I know some people who have formed real relationships off of rebounds, and I don't think it's nothing. I don't think it's nothing wrong with that. I think, again, if things are out clear on the table and you kind of know what's going on with each other, then I don't see the issues. And I think that's why those, like, if it ends up turning into something real, it only works because of the communication, because there's constant communication. You both kind of know where you both stand. You both like Susie knows where Billy is at right now, and Billy knows where Susie's at right now. And then after a while, it may just be like, you know what? Let's just hang out with each other. Let's just be around each other. And usually those individuals take things very slow. And I think that's good too, because, you know, although you're communicating, you still may not be completely certain that this person may not necessarily be completely over another individual. So taking it slow is a good way of dealing with that. After you start realizing that you're not even talking about past relationships, then you have something real. What are the rules for rebounding? This is a good question. So like the one thing I said before already, you know, I it's only okay with me. It's only okay if everyone knows, if you know what's going on. So in my opinion, I think the person should know what's going on in some shape or form. Like even just saying that I just came up from a serious relationship is fine with me. You don't have to get into the details of everything and blah blah blah, but I think that's good. Um, Again, another rule is there's no there should be no expectation of something real happening. You should not expect that to happen. Um, and there's pretty much really no strings attached kind of situation. So you can't expect it to be about love necessarily. Um, you know, in the broad sense, I would try to avoid that type of term. Um, in a way, it's sort of like no rules though. It's also like there's like whatever. We'll see what happens. Let's just go with it. Let's just flow with it and just see what happens, kind of thing. Um, and that's kind of how that works. Um, and it usually ends when one person just finally is like, I don't want to do this no more. This is I'm kind of over it. Thank you, but no, thank you. I want to stop, or I think this is getting weird now. That's totally fine. That's totally fine. And then once that happens, cool. Everybody's cool. Everybody's cool beans. You can move on. Great. That's pretty much that. Can you rebound a rebound? So technically, no, you cannot rebound a rebound because a rebound is the sense of coming from a serious breakup and going into something else in a way of coping with that, but nothing serious. You're not going into something. So you're going into something non-serious to cope with something serious. You're going into something short term to cope with something long term. You know, you're going into something casual to comfort with something with brevity. With seriousness and magnitude. Um, and that's kind of how that goes. But could you rebound a rebound? To me, that's just being very casual and open. That's not You're not really rebounding a rebound. I mean, if the relationship turned real, and then you end up breaking up with that person, rebounding with another person, then I guess that would be rebounding a rebound, or rebounding an old rebound that turned to something serious. But I'm not going to get into all of that. But to me, if you're rebounding that much, maybe you should ask yourself some few questions. Maybe you should think about it a little bit more. Why am I doing this so much, or why do I do that? Some people feel the need that they can't be alone. You know, and maybe that's something you need to ask about yourself. How independent are you? Or how reliant are you on others? And I think those are good questions because maybe you're jumping to different things for a reason, you know. And I think you need to take a hard look in the mirror and just really talk about that. And I think there is a lot of research on this too, and there's a lot of books, self-help books, and things like that. Therapy is great and everything to help you sort of cope with those different things because I know some people sort of fall into that cycle and you don't even realize it. And then you're just like, oh my gosh, like I started this relationship because I was trying to deal with the past one. And it just kept happening and kept happening and kept happening. Because like I said, those are not healthy starts. Those are not healthy starts. And it takes a lot of work to get them healthy. It takes a lot of work to get them into and to maintain them as something real. So that's why I say don't have that expectation when you're rebounding, or being a part of the rebound. Like you don't have that expectation. But that's pretty much all I have to say. This has been, I cannot believe it, but this has been our 80th episode. There's been 80 episodes. 80, 88, 0. So I want to thank all of you who have watched continuously or who have been trying to catch up and watch occasionally. I appreciate that. For those of you who have subscribed, thank you. For those of you who are going to subscribe now after this episode, thank you in advance. For those of you who constantly like, who constantly comment, who constantly share, I appreciate you. For those of you who message me, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And remember to always start your day off with a hey. Goodbye.